Greetings, this is Nick and Justin from Those Hairy Gamers.
Hello!
We are back for another weekly deck tech challenge. This week we have the Majestic Myriarch from Hour of Devestation. Justin, why don't you walk us through this card?
Okay, this card is the keyword card.
The keyword card of Hour of Devastation, that's for sure. We've seen a few of these in the past.
There was Odric back in Shadows over Innistrad, and now with Hour of Devastation, we have a new one. He's 5 cost, he's a star, and he is a mythic rare. Majestic's Myriarch's power and toughness are equal to twice the number of creatures you control. So even if you put him in that turn, he is a 2/2.
Which is not great, but
not great,
at least you can do that.
Yeah. But here's the fun bit for this card. At the beginning of each combat, if you control a creature with flying, Majestic Myriarch gains flying until end of turn. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance.
So all the standard keywords we see on creatures from just about any set.
Indeed.
In other words. I like how they made a point of saying flying was the first one. If you know much about Magic's history, they make a point of saying, okay, if it looks like this card flies, it has to fly. So we see like ethereal wings on it. So the theme there is, okay, we need to make sure that you know it flies first. First and foremost, it flies. Odric, for example, says First Strike, which is a very sort of human-themed thing from Shadows over Innistrad.
And if you look at it, he's holding his sword and he's like, I'm going to swing this sword and kill some people.
He's going to swing it real good.
Yeah.
The Myriarch is a bit less of a... I help out the crowd. The Myriarch is more, I'm awesome, deal with it. I mean, it can still get indestructible and hexproof from other creatures, but obviously the best way to deal with it is just pure removal.
Yeah.
If your opponent doesn't have removal, they're not having a good time with it at all.
No fun whatsoever.
So we both set out this week on the task of making a deck that really captures how this works. This is a standard deck that basically makes Majestic Myriarch work as good as possible. And what happened was, about halfway through the week, we were chatting to each other and we're saying, oh, how's your deck going? Yeah, pretty good. And we showed each other our deck. And it was very similar.
Yep.
We both went white-green. And at that point, I was thinking, I might change colours. And I had a look at some other colours. And I wasn't really happy with anything. So what we ended up doing was combining our efforts and making one deck together.
One super deck.
One super awesome deck.
A majestic deck, in fact.
I would say majestic indeed, good sir. And this is what we came up with. This is Majestic Deck by Nick and Justin. And I quite like it.
Yeah.
I quite like it.
Yeah. We have goldfished this deck and we have had some incredible laughs. Some great ups. Some average downs. But,
It's another one of those cases where our legendary creature can come out hilariously early. We've seen him come out on turn 4 and just be like a 10-10 with flying and all the stats. Just all the amazing stats that makes it good. This guy is the king of the keywords.
Yeah.
When we sat down and worked out what we wanted, we basically... Well, I don't know about you, Justin, but I made a list of all the keywords I wanted him to trigger. Things like First Strike and Menace, even things like Death Touch were less important. I basically said, okay, these keywords I can go without, but Double Strike, Lifelink, Flying, Vigilance, and I think that's pretty much all. And Trample occasionally, because it's sort of combos with all those things, is the things I want to focus on. If I can get those main things triggered in Majestic Myriarch, he's winning new games the turns he comes down.
I sat down and went, okay, what colour does each thing give? And I went, okay, green will give me Trample and a couple of other little things here and there. White will give me a good couple of these things. Red will give me some of these. And then I went and tried to see if, like, with one of these cards that we're going to talk about later, I went, okay, is there some way in either green or white to gain haste?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to cheat sort of that ability in for this.
I completely agree, and thankfully you did discover a green card from the standard block that has haste.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, because it's that one thing that just means he swings as soon as he comes down, and if you do that, you're giving yourself even more chance that he won't be able to be blocked.
Indeed. Yeah.
Anyway, without further ado, let's go through the deck. We obviously have 4 copies of Majestic Myriarch. Makes sense. We want him coming out as often as possible. He is our top end of the deck. Now, because we don't have any draw or choose in this deck, basically we're saying, okay, we're going wide and we're going big, and if Majestic Myriarch doesn't come out, we still have a great creature base, so we can still win games without him. And that's a very important thing. We're playing white and green, so that was never going to be a strong option. But if he comes out at the end, great. If he doesn't, we're still strong.
Yeah.
And that's an important thing to remember. When you don't have ways of drawing cards, you basically can't rely on one card too much. Let's start off with the 1-drops for our creature base. We have 4 copies of Sacred Cat. It's a keyword card, a 1/1 with lifelink, and can embalm later on. The cool thing is, if you lose this at the start of the game, you can wait for the Myriarch to come out and then embalm him to give the Myriarch lifelink, which is kind of cool. We have other cards with lifelink, but this is just a good, easy way to make sure it's in the game consistently.
Yeah.
We also had 3 copies of the Naaman Renegade. This is an elf warrior. Cost green. He is a 1/2 base with Death Touch. Revolt, Naaman Renegade enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn. That's not going to turn on too much, but honestly, a 1/2 with Death Touch for 1 mana is solid.
Yeah. Late game, you swing, someone blocks and kills some of your creatures.
That's right. And early game, you have a Death Toucher.
Yeah. This was one of the cards that you showed to me, and you said, look, we need to put this card in, and I had completely forgotten about the card.
Yeah, the main reason I like it is because it's a 1/2, so it's not another 1/1 that just dies too easily. But more to the point, it stalls the game early.
Yeah.
We don't have a great early game in this deck. We have an amazing late game.
Yeah.
It's not too slow, but I think we need a way of just dealing with things early on, and this is a great way of doing that.
Definitely.
Let's move on to the 2-drops. We have a Dawn Pouncer, again, keyword card, a 2-drop 1/1 with double strike, pretty straightforward. And again, eternalizes late on. If we lose it and we need to get double strike back, we just eternalize it. Pretty straightforward. It's consistently making sure that keyword stays in the game for us.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. We also have Beast Caller Savant. Justin, this is a card you found. Have a chat to us. What's going on here?
So, first of all, I just need to talk about the artwork in this card. The Beast Caller Savant has on it a snake, that, as you can see.
Yes.
The snake is actually a Lotus Cobra, which was from one of the original Zendikar sets.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so it's just bringing back some of the old flavour from the old sets, which is really nice. So, a 1 and a green for a 1/1 with haste.
It's okay. It's okay.
That's nothing that you want, but haste is good. Majestic Myriarch.
For a green card and then gives it to another green card, you've suddenly introduced so much haste into the game.
Tap to add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell. This card has turned this deck basically on its head to a certain extent. Like, giving Majestic Myriarch haste, so dumb.
I mean, honestly, I look at the quote-unquote intended way that Wizards wanted this card to play. You're giving it haste so you can immediately use his ability. I get that.
Yeah.
We're using it in such a way that we're giving another green card haste. We got a green creature with haste, giving another green creature haste. This is not something that green should do.
No.
And also taps to add mana for Majestic Myriarch. Majestic Myriarch is a 5-drop. We need ways to ramp into it, and this is fantastic. And I'm glad that he's only 40 cents as well.
Yeah.
That's really good. Unfortunately, cycling out in a few weeks, but still, if you want to get and play this deck in the next couple of weeks, it's well worth it, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Okay, moving on to the 3-drops, we have an Aerial Responder for 1 white. He's a Dwarf Soldier with Flying, Vigilance, Lifelink, and he's a 2/3.
What I like to call him is he's the White Hawk. There's another card called Vampire Nighthawk. He's a black and a black, and he's got Flying, Lifelink, and Death Touch.
Yeah.
And he's a 2/3. So it's basically sort of the same stats, but a different keyword. So,
Yeah.
The
Card's
White
really
Hawk.
solid. Card's really solid. You're getting 3 keywords, all relevant keywords. For what I was listing before, the ones I really want, they're all on this card. And to do it on turn 3 potentially, making sure we have turn 4, 5, 6 open for the Majestic Myriarch to come in and straight away get those keywords.
Yeah.
It's just really solid. I can't see this deck working too well without this.
No.
We also have Ronus the Indomitable for 2 green. He is a legendary god with Death Touch, indestructible. Cool, 2 excellent keywords. Death Touch I'm not so jazzed about. He cannot attack or block unless you have another creature with power 4 or greater. Not ideal in this deck, so you are using him heavily for his keywords.
Yeah.
But at the same time, his activated ability for 2 in green, another target creature gets +2/+2 and gains trample until end of the turn. Which is also relevant because that gives someone trample, which also gives the Myriarch trample.
Yep.
Which is fantastic.
And that's why I sort of put him into the deck. I thought, look, even if he's not always turned on, he's an additional 2 power and toughness for the Myriarch.
Yeah,
because
that's right.
he's always going to be sitting on the table.
That's right. And the fact that you have access to Indestructible for 3 mana is fantastic.
Yeah.
Which moves us on to our 4-drop, Oketra the True. Same deal, 3 and white for double strike and Indestructible. So just having 2 copies of each of these cards means we're likely to get one of them during the game. Yeah. And making that Myriarch Indestructible is just so annoying.
Yeah.
There's not too many cards that can get around it once it has Indestructible. And it also, Oketra will always be turning on. This deck easily goes wide with 27 creatures. A lot of really good low-cost creatures as well. The card's just solid. Activated ability for 3 and 1 white to create a 1/1 white warrior creature with vigilance. Again, another keyword.
Yeah, so you can see with both of the gods, they're actually giving 3 keywords. What's nice with Oketra is we do have Anointed Procession.
Indeed we do. So we'll get onto that later when we go through our enchantments, but we do have Anointed Procession to make sure when we make tokens we go super, super wide.
Yeah.
This brings us on to our last creature, the Angel of Invention. Just the 2 of in this. We don't want to get in the way of the Myriarch too much, but this comboing with the Myriarch is just disgusting. It has Flying Vigilance, Lifelink again, fantastic. Fabricate 2, so you can go super, super wide. And other creatures you control get +1/+1. So it's this Myriarch's best friend, this card.
It really is.
This card is bonkers.
Yeah.
It's so good. It cost $6.50 on TCG Player. Well worth it. Well worth it. I'd cop that for sure. Yeah. It's just so good. So for 5 cost, you're getting 3 keywords into 3 creatures. Usually, if I have Myriarch and Angel of Invention in my hand, I'd play the Myriarch first, and then the next turn, Angel of Invention comes down. Myriarch loses his summoning sickness and just swings with all this power and toughness, all these keywords. So Myriarch should be on the way to winning you the game if he survives his first rotation after he gets cast.
Indeed.
That's what it's all about. And Angel of Invention means we have things that come down after Myriarch, which just give it this obscene boost. It is nuts.
If you think about it, Angel of Invention is actually giving it a +7 boost.
It's so good. It's so good. With a creature with flying, double strike, lifelink, vigilance, it's nuts.
Yeah.
You just can't do anything about that.
No.
The main thing in those situations is they don't have chump blockers that can fly. And I think in those situations you want to be able to sideboard in some real trample. That's my main concern with sort of just going huge on one creature without trample. We do have Ronas to switch that on.
Yeah.
Once that starts happening, you're having a real good time.
Yeah.
You're having a real good time. Moving on to the instance, we just have 2 copies of Blossoming Defense. Another keyword, but just a really good solid card. Helps protect you against removal.
Yeah.
Not much to say about this. It's very important that the Myriarch has those moments where he can just go, nope.
Yeah.
Hexproof, can't kill it. Because single creature removal is going to be his biggest downfall.
Indeed.
So, yeah, Blossoming Defense makes perfect sense.
You want that, basically, if you don't have a god, you need the Blossoming Defense to get rid of the cast out.
I'd say in a heavy removal deck, sideboard in another 2 of these. Make it 4.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And maybe some other things that give hexproof.
Absolutely. There's Heroic Intervention, which is quite good. It also protects your entire board.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some different schools of thought on that, but we'll see how it goes. We also have Prepare to Fight, another keyword. For 1 and 1 white, untap target creature, it gets +2/+2 and gains lifelink until end of turn. Pretty solid, nothing too special. It's a decent combat trick, but what's cool, it also has fight. So late game, at sorcery speed, for 4 cost, you can make one of your creatures fight one of your opponent's creatures. When you have a gigantic creature with lifelink, that's just so potent.
Well, and also, if you think about it, you've also got Death Touch, things like that. So you can use...
dude, if the Myriarch isn't killing something with its power alone, I don't think that should matter.
Well, if the Myriarch's not on the field, you can at least use the fight with the Naaman Renegade to get rid of...
Yeah, that's true. It's a bit of a trade-off just to get you a bit more board control. Yeah, I dig that. I dig that. And our enchantments, we have 3 copies of Anointed Procession just to make sure that Oketra's a bit more hilarious, the Sacred Cat's a bit more hilarious, the Adorned Pants is a bit more hilarious.
Angel of Invention.
Angel of Invention. If you If you ramp this into Angel Invention, you get a lot of tokens. You get 4 servos. We also have 3 copies of Cast Out. It's just a really good solid card, good removal, and it cycles early game.
Yeah.
We found, because we have no ways of drawing in this deck, if you have this in open hand, you always cycle it straight away, just to make sure you're getting through the deck. You don't want this lingering in your hand for too long. But if you get late game, you get to remove something big, which is quite nice.
Finally, just with the lands, we've got 6 forests, 5 plains, 4 Haship Oasis. Haship Oasis is tap to add a colourless to your mana pool, or tap and pay 1 life to add a green to your mana pool. The main reason we're using this, though, actually is for its final ability.
Yeah.
1, a green, and a green. Tap this, sacrifice a desert. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Activate this ability only any time you would cast a sorcery.
So anything big with lifelink, anything with double strike,
Yeah.
it helps close out a game. And for the cost of 4 mana, because it has to tap itself as well, and it's going to sack itself. It doesn't really have that many other targets. It's solid.
But we do have the white one as well.
We have the white one as well, yeah. But it just means we can close out the game if we're just a bit beyond getting the right amount of damage through the end. Speaking of the white one...
Sheffet Dunes. Again, tapping for colourless or paying 1 life to add 1 white mana. This one's ability, though, is a bit different. 2 and 2 white. Tap it, sacrifice a desert. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So this is more for the go wide.
They both work. They both work really well. I like that we could potentially have one of each of these on the board and have the choice, which is really cool. It depends how we're going to do things. I mean, we have to activate these at sorcery speed, so unfortunately our opponent can see it coming. But if we're using things like the Myriarch and obscene go wide strategies, it shouldn't matter too much. The opponent shouldn't have answers for that.
No.
So, yeah, they're both just really solid.
Yeah.
And the last thing we have is 4 copies of Scattered Groves. Not much to say about this. Comes into play tapped, and taps for white or green.
Oh, also cycling.
Cycling,
that's the only other thing I'd add. You need the cycling late game. You
don't suck with that yet. It sucks when you draw a land late game and you can't do anything. The fact that there is a land now that you can just cycle straight away.
Sideboard ideas, probably Oketra's Monument.
Yeah, Oketra's Monument works quite well. Anointed Procession, I feel like you put it in the deck. It's a bit more... It works better when it works. Oketra's Monument is a bit more consistent. But reducing the cost of your white creatures isn't a huge deal in this deck.
No.
If we could reduce the cost of the Majestic Myriarch, fantastic. But
yeah.
We already have the 4 copies of the Beastcaller Savant. I don't think that reducing mana cost of creatures is a big deal in this.
No, and I don't think the Ronus's Monument works for this deck either.
Yeah, and considering we're relying on things late game, like Angel Invention, which curves out exactly right after an own possession, it's a good way of going about this. And we have 4 different creatures that produce tokens? Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And we can do that at will for embalming, eternalizing. Oketra makes stuff when she wants. And the Angel Invention comes out after an possession anyway. So it works out quite well. I think in this deck, this works quite well. I mean, the only thing I'd add to it is a bit more removal. Maybe some Stasis Snares for a bit cheaper way of getting creatures.
Oh, yeah.
You've got 3 cast outs. That feels good. Maybe some Fragmentize. If your opponent's relying on their own monuments or cheap enchantments, they're quite useful.
Okay, guys. So that was our Majestic Standard deck.
Indeed. Tell us what you think in the comments, like and subscribe, and head over to our Facebook page where we will be revealing next week's card for our Deck Tech Challenge. We will catch you in the next video. Catch you later.
Bye.